And this afternoon, the strong winds are even causing some damage across the area. We'll tell you about some power outages in just a moment. But first, we want to turn to 5 News reporter Kayla Davis. She's in Bella Vista, where a tree has fallen onto a house there. Kayla, what can you tell us?
Morgan, we are certainly feeling that chilly air and that breeze, and that wind that Stephen was just talking about certainly impacted this home that we're standing in front of. As you can see, this tree was completely uprooted out of the ground and hit this roof. I spoke with the homeowner about maybe 20 to 30 minutes ago. She's actually outside right now speaking with a roofing company. They were just on top of the roof, taking a look at just how extensive the damage is. And once I finish here with you guys, I'll ask them what they're thinking is going to be, maybe the cost and just how bad it is. But you can hear the wind coming through. That is what made this tree come up out of the ground and hit this roof so badly. And you can see the size of it. It's actually amazing. But I'm going to send it back to you guys. That's how bad it is out here, and we'll keep you updated through the rest of the day when it comes to this family and their home.
Thank you, Kayla. Definitely a very crazy sight, and you can see her out there in the wind too, definitely feeling the effects of that. Now we're also getting word of thousands of power outages all across the state due to the wind. Over 15,000 customers are in the dark right now, 2,500 of those in Sebastian County. But we're going to continue monitoring power outages, all of this throughout the day. Well, a Fort Smith man has been arrested in connection with the death of a woman. Police say they got a call to a house in the 1500 block of South 11th Street on Sunday. There they found 65-year-old Dorothy Edmonds dead from a blow to the head. 58-year-old Marvin Davis, who was identified as a suspect, was arrested Tuesday afternoon. He's in the county jail right now on a first-degree murder charge. Well, in continued coverage, the city of Fort Smith has approved a new sewer rate increase to support some ongoing utility operations. On Tuesday, the Fort Smith City Board approved a 3.5% annual sewer rate increase that'll start June 1st of this year. The increase will continue every year through 2030 to fund consent decree projects and support ongoing utility operations. Average users can expect about $3 increase in their monthly bill. Again, that will happen annually through 2030. And Fayetteville Mayor Molly Rahn highlighted the top priorities in her term during her State of the City address. Rahn took office a little over 2 months ago, but is highlighting things her administration has already accomplished, as well as sharing her goals for the future. Housing remains top of mind for Mayor Rahn, like in her campaign. She says the city's working to streamline the permitting process, adding it will help the construction of much-needed housing.
I'm committed to supporting creative solutions, new ideas and development, and improving our infrastructure to ensure that we effectively address the challenges before us.
Mayor Rahn highlighted the 71B corridor project, said her administration is committed to modernizing the corridor, making it walkable and accessible with businesses and housing. Well, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed a few new bills into law. One bill in particular permits the use of nitrogen gas for executions. This makes Arkansas the 5th state to adopt that execution method. The state has not carried out an execution since 2017, when 4 people were executed before one of its lethal injection drugs expired. Meanwhile, lawmakers revisited gender-affirming care with the Vulnerable Youth Protection Act. Representative Mary Bentley introduced the bill. It allows civil lawsuits against those involved in a minor's social transitioning and restricts puberty blockers. The bill faced constitutional concerns, though, and it was withdrawn for changes.
Things like a haircut, even clothing, or even the use of pronouns, right? That's all speech. And so our concern there is that when you are criminalizing, or in this case, providing a civil cause of action for certain things, certain forms of speech, that has to pass a very, very high constitutional bar.
The bill will be amended and revisited after addressing those concerns. The White House confirmed a phone call this morning between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky. It comes a day after President Trump spoke with Russian President Putin. Following that phone call, the Trump administration negotiations to broker a partial ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine will begin as soon as this weekend. Natalie Brand reports.
Russian strikes damaged a hospital in Ukraine after the phone call between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We are going back and forth at every level, driving both sides towards a ceasefire and driving both sides towards an end to this war.
The White House says the leaders agreed to a ceasefire covering energy and infrastructure, but Russia has not agreed to a full 30-day ceasefire. The Kremlin also noted a key condition for working toward a resolution should be an end to foreign military aid and intelligence.
We talked about a lot of things, but aid was never discussed.
Experts on the region describe the call as a small step of progress, but say it remains to be seen where negotiations go from here.
What seems clear to me is Putin is at a minimum holding out for more time just to try and take as much territory as possible.
Back in Washington, the administration is facing a series of legal setbacks. On Fox News, President Trump criticized judges who ruled against him.
These are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge.
The comments follow a rare rebuke from Chief Justice John Roberts after President Trump called for the impeachment of the judge in the latest case over deportation flights. Roberts said in part, for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Previously classified documents related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy have been released. The files were made public Tuesday under an executive order signed by President Trump on his first day back in office. They were posted on the National Archives website. A tourist visiting the plaza in Dallas, where Kennedy was killed, shared his reaction.
I think it's really important. You know, we had assassination attempts on our own president now, so I think it's kind of important to remember what happened so that we don't go back to where we were as a country.
The collection contains tens of thousands of pages, and researchers estimate about 3,000 files had not been released.